This is James Altucher at TheStreet.com TV, and I'm here with Jim Cramer. So, Jim, you've done hedge funds, you've done businesses. Right now, kids coming out of college, they obviously want to make a lot of money.
Right.
What should they do? Start a hedge fund, start a business? If they had to choose one.
I started a hedge fund, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, when I was at Indiana University, it was really interesting. They had a stock pickers club. And it was very rigorous, and they had a professor involved in it, and they ran money. University of Texas, the same. In every case, I think they had a considerable jump on many of the people I recruited at Goldman Sachs. The considerable jump had the fact that it was real money, it was very competitive, and the winners would easily get jobs on Wall Street because they were so rigorous. Then, I would imagine if they could keep that record up that they had in college, or, I mean, some of these guys went right to business school too. I mean, but, it's a consensus group of college and business school kids. They're so far ahead that they can start a hedge fund 26, 28.
Well, I'm gonna disagree, and the reason is there's 9,000 hedge funds out there. There's a lot of supply already, and the demand is going down because the SEC raised the bar by which an individual investor can invest. You have to have $2.5 million in assets instead of $1 million in liquid assets. So, and part of the challenge of starting a hedge fund is marketing. Can these college kids get over the hump on marketing and compete in a tougher market?
All right. I think that, again, they don't go right into it. They shouldn't just, they'll get recruited because of their record at college or at business school. And then 2 years from now, because they've given the 2 years of their life, they will have made friends. They will have other people who are looking to invest in them. Now, the thing I would emphasize is this a little NBA-like. In that what you're doing is you're trying to play in the NBA when you get into the hedge fund business, and not everybody can. But I regard this feeder system of stock club at college business school as being NCAA activity at the college level for basketball so that they can get recruited. Now, the more interesting thing I would find if they want to get rich slower is to build a company. When I say slower, because one of the things that I found when I build companies is that they always take longer than you think. But if you have a 4 or 5 year time frame, you could build a company and be worth more and change the odds. I say change the odds. Do better than if you went my hedge fund route.
Well, a hedge fund route also is fairly slow. Let's say you have $100 million under assets and you're up 20%, which is a phenomenal year. Right. So you're going to make about $3 to $4 million in fees, but you have partners, you have third-party marketing agreements, you have staff, you have analysts, you have all sorts of expenses for research. Even with $100 million in assets having a phenomenal year, you're probably still only bringing home, let's say, $500,000 to $1 million before taxes.
Okay, well, remember there's
which is a lot, but
right.
It's not.
There's a lot of things that can be
rich.
soft dollar, whether I like that or not. There's also a propensity to recognize that if you have that record, the next year could be gigantic.
All right, that's true. You can raise money more easily.
Right, and what I would tell you is if you're an affable salesperson, some of these things come much more easily and you could very quickly raise a lot of money. So a dues-paying year where you make $500,000 isn't so bad.
Okay, that's very true. That's very true. And I want to get back to this topic, but it brings to mind an interesting question. You say these guys are doing great in the stock clubs. They can easily get a job on Wall Street. Which makes me think maybe Wall Street should change how they do their whole analyst departments. An analyst department should probably be structured as a stock club, so the analysts have real company money that they're putting to work, and then have to do their research on top of that. So they're really backing up their research by company money.
I would like that. Now, pre-Spitzer, all they cared about was investment banking. Post-Spitzer, all they really care about is servicing large clients. Being right has still been only a minimal effort in these processes. By the way, fabulous study in Bloomberg about post-Spitzer, how everyone got very bearish because they felt that was the law, and it's been exactly wrong. But yes, I agree with you that it would be good if it was stock picking. However, my experience at Goldman Sachs and then watching research is that being right has been a very small part of the equation.
Right, so those guys are going to get fired. So
yes,
just put the money to work, and then also get compensated like a hedge fund manager. So now analysts are really competing intellectually with the hedge funds.
I always was in favor of that. It's very interesting, though, that Pru, which had no investment banking, got out of research, even though their research I thought was demonstrably better than others, because it just didn't pay for itself. Maybe your way would pay for itself, but the current model doesn't work.
Yeah, well, Prudential was calling for a Tyco breakup even like 5 years ago. So they've been they've been very good.
The guy who ran the research, I was going to say runs, but he's they're downsized, they're getting rid of it. Was a guy named Michael Shea. Michael Shea happens to live down the block from me. Michael Shea was addicted to performance. Everything was about performance. Before that, it was Michael Culp, who wrote a good book about a fiction book about research firms. But
what was the title? Do you remember?
Geez, it's under Culp on Amazon, CULP. It's almost better to have that name than. But what I would emphasize to you is that place had a long tradition of trying to be right, and yet it was the first place that folded.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, Jim, thanks very much. We only got to the tip of the iceberg on my initial question, but we'll get back to it. This is James Altucher at TheStreet.com TV. Thanks.